Hey, I'm Jeff and welcome back to another video. I have a few air layering propagation projects that I gotta attend to today, plus I have a couple items that I think you guys will think is pretty cool, so let's check it out. Don't mind this large, beautiful Anthurium brownie eye leaf in the way, but if you are unfamiliar with the process of air layering, basically what it is you start rooting a plant while it's still intact. You don't cut it up or anything like that, you root it while the stem is intact. So I have some moss, some sphagnum moss, kind of wrapped in some plastic here. My goal is to establish roots on this section of the stem so that I can chop the top off, and then I'll put it in a separate pot. And yeah, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with the rest of the stem yet, but I'm going to take off the plastic as it's been on here for probably about 3 weeks, I think. So we'll see if there's any roots, and if there is, then I'll chop it up. I just can't get over this leaf. Look how gorgeous this is. This plant, just a little side note, I actually won this plant from an Instagram contest. The first cool item is directly in front of you, and you may not even see it because it's clear. It's basically invisible. This is a moss pole, or a clear plastic moss pole. Today I'm going to be using an aroid mix, I think, for this one instead of sphagnum moss. This is from THICCLY. It's a THICCLY grow pole. And the thing that I like about this is when you put your growing medium, whether it's sphagnum moss or an aroid mix, it has a cool little feature. It has these little tabs that you can push in like this, so that when you put your medium or soil or whatever in the casing here, it doesn't flow out the bottom. So it's basically a little stopper. So I think that's pretty cool. And then on top here, on the top section, if you want to extend the poles, or if you want to add another one on top, it has these little clips that they snap into each other, and you can extend it. And yeah, I think these are some pretty cool features on this. So let's take the plastic off and see if we got some roots. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is untie these plant ties at the back. And then I'm going to take off the plastic wrap here. I just used a Ziploc bag, and I just basically like slid it down over top of the leaves, but I'm just going to rip the sides off. I can reuse this again if I need to. So I'm going to take this off. Hopefully there's some roots. Okay, there is one long giant root right here. Okay, so that one worked, and I think that's it. I'm going to take this off. See if it's rooted into the moss as well. So that's pretty cool. I got one nice root. Looks like another little root on the back. So it definitely worked. I was hoping for more roots than this, but I'll take what I can get. Now, all I'm going to do is take my pruning shears and cut in between these two nodes. They have a really long internode, so I'm going to slice it like that. Now I have an entirely new plant. I'm just going to cut that back just to something like that. So I have an entirely new section of cutting that I can pot in a new pot. I just placed the cutting in my watering can as I don't want it to dry out while I complete this process. So here is the THICCLY grow pole. Here's the bottom portion. I'm putting these little tabs facing inwards, and then I'm going to be using this VeryPlants Molly's aroid mix. I have tried this for a couple plants. It's a really well draining, it's a soilless potting mix. So I'm going to use this as my medium inside the grow pole. And all I'm going to do is just dump it in there. Let's see if it actually holds on the bottom or not. Okay, maybe I need a couple chunky pieces of orchid bark. Okay, something like that. So it actually looks to be doing what it's supposed to. So it's holding all the medium at the bottom. Just gonna get my arm out of the way and just dump it in. Just gonna give it a little bit of a shake. You can use a pencil or something to poke down all the medium as well. Something like that. Oh geez, fell over. Oh no, I got dirt everywhere. Okay. Got a mess. I wish it didn't fall over. That was not good. And finishing off up here. Just kind of using my hand as a funnel at the top just so it doesn't go everywhere. And that should be it. Just kind of pack it down now. Or something like that. I got a mess over here. Okay. So there's the finished product. Got a little bit of space at the top, which I will use for watering. And then at the bottom here, you can see it's holding on to the medium. I got my little scooper in here. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to take my cutting with the plant Velcro. I'm going to attach it to the pole here, and then I will add the cutting into the pot afterwards. I like to secure this to the pole first. That way, it just gives me a little more stability when I'm potting it up. I'm going to make sure that this aerial root is attached or in contact with the medium. So I'll attach the top one here in a second, but just so I have the section looking like this. So the node is touching the medium. I have the cutting basically at the very bottom of the pot. And then I'm just going to place it in the pot just so it seats it at the very bottom. That way it adds stability and support. And then I'm just going to add in some more of this potting mix here. And we'll see how this goes. Actually, I'm going to cut this bottom leaf off because it will rot. I should have done that in the first place, but so I'll cut that leaf off. We'll have that node again in contact, and I'll just place this at the bottom and then dump in the mixture. The next project I have is a syngonium which I want to air layer, and I have a cool new little gadget that I got off of Amazon that I think some of you will definitely appreciate. Get to that here in a second. I'm just going to put a little bit of this mix in just like that. I might have to put a little bit of soil just at the back. I have another soil tray underneath here, just to fill in a bit of a gap at the back here. I'm going to give this some water here right away as well. There. Now I got to find one more little Velcro tie that I can attach to the pole just like that. Looks like it's going to need an extension here fairly soon, probably on the next newest leaf or the next node. I do have one more pole that I can extend this with, so I'm going to attach this, we'll give it some water, then I'll get to the syngonium air layering and show you that cool new little gadget. Okay, I got my pump action spray bottle. I'm going to give it some water here in a second, but I just wanted to show the Velcro fabric. And I just want to explain a little bit because I have had some comments in the past. The soft fabric portion should be against the plant stem. And as you can see, that just happens to be the green, and the prickly Velcro portion should be facing away from the, it should not be in contact with the stem, so you want it facing away from the plant. This just happens to be green, white when it should actually be green. And I'm going to use the spray and nozzle, and just at the top, I'm just going to soak the top here, just so it drains down into the pot. This will help settle the soil as well. I know some people use like a plastic bottle and they'll just have it kind of drip down, but I like using the misting bottle or the spray bottle here, the garden sprayer. You can see that's just dripping down. I'll let that run down into the soil. I'm going to saturate the pot here as well, just because I don't want that air layered moss root to dry out. Otherwise you're going to run into some issues. It's going to dry up and you're going to probably lose the cutting. I want these aerial roots to grow into the medium. I'm just going to clean off the leaves here as well. And now I'm just going to water the pot here until it comes out the bottom of the drain hole. Okay, so it's draining out very nice. It's got some weight to it. I like the way it looks, and I'm going to put it back on the floor underneath my mother grow light here with the rest of the plants growing up planks and these moss poles. So I have this one, it's going to be dripping a little bit, but whoops. I have this one right down here. It was the larger one, but that's okay. So I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but this is a Philodendron Splendid, and this one is a Splendid as well. And I have it in moss on these plastic D-shaped ones. So I do have two Splendids. Here's a Majestic back here. Here is a beautiful Varicosum, and then I have a bunch of other philodendrons. It's filling in quite nice back here. Here is a McDowell. It's getting a new leaf. Here's an Anthurium pedato radiatum. Here again is that brownie eye, massive leaf. Here's another one. Got my Monstera back here. Everything's filling in beautifully back here. Now I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of these. I can individually propagate these nodes in water, so I can have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 individual nodes. So I may chop these up, propagate them in water, and then I will have 8 new individual splendid plants. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but let's get to the air layering propagation on my Syngonium. Okay, here's my Syngonium modeled. Not looking the greatest. It's got basically just 3 leaves at the top, and then the rest of the stem, while it's attached to the plank, it has no leaves. So I don't like the way it looks. So I want to air layer the top somewhere up here, and then chop the top off, and then I can put it back in the pot to restart the process and hopefully not lose the lower leaves like last time. So here is my cool little gadget. And what is it? So instead of using the plastic bag method, which can be a little bit difficult to get around the stem, it can, you have to wrap around the pole, this little pod closes up. So you have your either sphagnum moss or soil in here. Obviously you would want to keep it wet or moist. Close it up. It has a little tab on the side here. It locks it in place, but you have a section or a portion at the bottom and top to accommodate the stem. So it goes around the stem like this. You close it up and you just let the roots grow in there. So your own little propagation pod. I think that is super awesome. I think I saw this on TikTok and I bought them off Amazon. It comes in different sizes as well. I got the 3-pack. So this is the small, medium, and then it has the large pod. I don't know if you want to propagate your tree outside. It has 3 different sizes. So large, medium, and small. So this one is quite large. It's literally for propagating a tree, which I don't think I'll ever use this one. Maybe the small and medium ones will do just fine. So I'm going to add some soil in this one and we'll see what happens. So I added some soil level with the top in both sides of the pod, and I'm just going to wet it with my little misting wand, my watering bottle. Just like that, just making sure it's saturated throughout, and then I will just sandwich the stem in the little pod. There, we'll let that soak in for a minute. I'm just going to kind of wet it like that and let it soak in. And because of the forces of gravity, I decided to lay the plank down. Because if I tried to do this standing upright, basically the soil will just fall right out. So I'm just going to place this portion. There is 2 nodes right here. So I'm just going to close that up like that. That was super simple. I'm actually going to move this up a little bit as well, just so this top section just doesn't hang down. I might have to tape it to the plank, but overall that looks really good. It supports itself okay. It's a little wobbly. I don't think it's going to snap the stem or anything like that, but I am going to add just a little support tie just in case. It doesn't have to be tight or anything, just so it ends up looking like that. And the nice thing about this little pod feature as well is I can take my spray wand and just add a little bit of water just on the top, and it actually drains right out the bottom down into the soil. So that's a nice way to keep the little pod moist as well. I will leave a link to these products on my Amazon Canada and US page. I'm not too sure if they're on the US page or not, but I will find them on there. Go check that out. The link will be in the description of this video. There's also a bunch of other discount codes and links to products that I use in my videos. I do get a small commission on most of these items through discount codes as well as my Amazon page. So not only are you getting a discount, you're helping me out just a little bit as well. So I think that's going to be pretty much it for this air layering propagation video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching my videos, everyone. Take care. Bye.